8/27/2017. This is a lot of potatoes of mixed varieties, everything from Kennebec to Yukon Gold to All Blue to Adirondack Red to Russets to Banana Fingerlings. There may be one or two other varieties, I don't recall. These were struggling with a huge infestation of Colorado potato bug earlier this season. In an attempt to mitigate that, I put down a product called Escent Shield, which is a combination of some essential oils and a surfactant and some neem oil, I believe, in an attempt to shut them down. I think it did actually shut them down, but the downside of it, even though I did it on a night that was supposed to be cool enough to not cause damage, I did it pretty heavy because I had done a dose before and that didn't seem to be doing enough. And so I put a second dose down that was stronger, and it burned the plants back a little bit. But I think it did knock out a good portion of the Colorado potato bugs. But then, of course, my plants lost a lot of the leaf structure and lost their opportunity to proliferate and really rock. But I got in touch with a company called Advancing Eco Agriculture, and I asked them their advice on what the best way to manage this and correct this problem was, and they hooked me up with some information. And so I'm using a product that's basically comprised of seaweed, and I'm using foliar feeds and in nutrient injections. We're doing that 2 times a week. And so I just want to point out, it's been, I think it's about 2 weeks now, actually. And these plants looked, I don't even have one that's that bad looking now, as an example. I guess I would say they look like this right here, except without any of the green leaf growth on there. Basically, they just look like a stem. They're pretty sad looking. And you can see where a lot of this, dieback, this is all part of that plant. But you can see at the base it's still green. And you can see there's new growth coming out of there. But so they all look like that. And so in 2 weeks, with a few treatments of this product called C-Stim, they have perked back up, they put their leaves back out, and they're actually growing quite healthily. And I think they're going to finish out with a little bit better yield. Some of these potato varieties are 60-day varieties, and some are 90-day varieties. And I think we're pretty close to 90 days here altogether anyway. But I really wanted to make an attempt at finishing this crop out with as much yield as possible, with as much quality as possible, for a lot of reasons. 1, for the nutritional value of it. 2, for the storage value. Any crop that's grown in really good soil conditions with appropriate balanced nutrition stores a whole lot better and a whole lot longer, and insects don't go after it and molds don't attack it as easily. I could go on all day about that sort of thing, but basically it makes for much better storage. And also at the same time, of course, since I save my own seed potatoes and plant the following year, this is my 3rd generation now, I can amplify the potential of those plants by doing this every year. If the plants are starting with all the right trace mineral nutrition right inside the potato from the start, and then they have it in the soil with that in combination, we can really jump out of the ground and take some advantage over what other normal crops would do. So I just want to point out that that product really helped save a lot of these plants pretty well. You can see some of these were in much worse shape than others, but you see all new leaf growth popping out at these nodes, and even on the outer ends of the stem, there's new leaf growth coming on there. And the leaves that are here are dark green, healthy, and so far, I think I've only spotted 1 or maybe 2 potato bugs around. So we're making our way back to health here. And let's see. I also want to point out, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I want to point out how many worms are in here and how vigorous they are. It's amazing. This soil didn't have worms in it before, really, to speak of, last year when it was just tilled and wasn't mulched. So it's a great example. Actually, what I'll try and do is dig up some video from last year, and we can show a comparison of the tilled potato lot versus the tilled potato lot versus the tilled and mulched potato lot. So let's be clear, I did till this, and I did add some amendments to the soil, and I have run nutritional amendments and foliar feeds. But there's a huge difference in the worm population and in the fungal activity and in the health of the soil, the structure of the soil. It's a massive difference in the 2 to 3 months that these potatoes have been in here with mulch on. So really impressive. So I harvested a few potatoes last night. I decided to harvest a few of the Kennebec potatoes. Wanted to get some samples out to some of my buyers and let them get a taste. So I harvested 19-foot row of the Kennebec potatoes. You can see there's a lot of weeds. See how much more weed pressure is in here where I didn't get the mulch finished because I got behind on many other things. But yeah, so no mulch, right? Finished. All the potato rows, the row itself was mulched, but in between hadn't been mulched. Okay, right? Like that is there. You see how much less weeds are there. And then as you get up here, you can see how weedy this is right up until, bang, where the mulch starts thick. As soon as that mulch starts thick, that weed pressure drops enormously. So, you know, people say they have weed problems, and you know, when they put on mulch or hay for mulch, they end up with more weed problems. You're not putting your mulch on heavy enough. I'm not putting my mulch on heavy enough, and I had a solid 8 inches on here. We got some of these weeds, you know, growing in here, and yeah, I know they're all going to go to seed, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to mulch it heavier next year and suppress them altogether. So not really a concern. Anyway, so in 19-foot row, I got 19 pounds of potatoes, so 1 pound per foot row. I can't complain too much about that. And there's 10 100-foot rows in here, so you do the math. Actually, I'll do it for you. 1,000-foot row. So if that holds true for the whole patch, which I don't think it will due to the Colorado potato bugs and stuff like that, but if it does hold true, it'd be about 1,000 pounds of potatoes. And even if it was 0.75 or 0.5 pounds per foot row, it would still be somewhere between 500 and 750 pounds of potatoes. So altogether, not bad. So I told you I would try and show you some worms in here. You wouldn't believe how these guys were just running off last night. And maybe what I'll do here is dig a couple potatoes quick, if I can. And you can see the worms and the potatoes all in one shot. So it's a little dry in here because I did have the soil a little uncovered. Oh, there's a potato. But I'm sure we'll get into the worm population shortly. I also want to point out, if you see all this white fungal stuff, that's mycelial web, that's fungi spreading out, and that's a good thing. That's good soil biology there, and we like to see that. So that's all positive benefits of good mulch, and especially the leaf mulch. This leaf mulch is amazing as far as an inoculant, a nutrition, a soil protectant, and a worm sounding beacon almost. It really draws the worms in an incredible way. So these potatoes are actually significantly smaller in this patch. It figures that when I get the camera out, the smaller ones will come out, but I'm not too worried about it. We'll show you some pictures later in the season of the really nice stuff. What I'm really after is getting back into some of these worms if I can. Oh, there's another nice potato. And another. Boy, I must have shook them all out of here with the hot sun and all my digging. Oh, there's another potato. Okay, well, let me dig up a few here quick, because maybe I just can't dig fast enough with one hand. Let's see if I can get in here a little quicker. Oh, moles have been in here. That's not good. There we go. Now I'm starting to hit that cooler soil again, which is what I'm after. That's where we'll find those worms again. Yeah, there you go. See them? I mean, they're crawling up out of the top of the soil ahead of where I'm harvesting. And there's another nice potato. And let me pick this guy up. Yeah, see? You can tell worms are happy when you pick them up and they squirm and move around at like a phenomenal rate. And this guy's kind of just chilling in my hand. But if I hold him up in the sun, grab him a little bit, yeah, you can see he's pretty wriggly. So that's a good sign. Anyway, I found worms of this size and a little bit bigger. I probably found in this 19 or 20 foot row, I would say I probably found 50 or more of these guys, big ones like this. Of course, I saw small little ones too. There he goes, wriggling around. I saw small little ones in here as well, and I'm sure there are more. I just found that many. I'm sure if I've found that many, there's probably thousands in here, and I just, I'm scaring him out when I'm digging, because that's why he came up out over the top, because he felt me digging and wasn't sure what I was up to in there. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought I would share that with you as well. So, most of the potatoes I got out of here were like this, or a little bigger. Kennebecs, and we'll be trying those soon to see how this season's tasted. But I know other years they were delicious, and I still got friends that I shared some with who rant and rave every time I talk to them about my potatoes and how they were the best potatoes that they ever had. And there's a reason for that. They're grown in high nutrition, and they're treated with all the care, and there are no pesticides or chemicals involved. It's all about using natural systems. Natural systems really work. Anyway, so that's my potato video. I hope I wasn't too long-winded. I have a tendency to get pretty long-winded. Anyway, thanks for watching the Farmacy Seeds Network.